we've talked about SOHCAHTOA for a really long time, right? Since grade 10, sine, cosine, tangent. No one has ever asked me, are there more, Miss Sly? Why is it opposite over hypotenuse? Why isn't it hypotenuse over opposite, right? We just kind of said, cool, that works. Well, you know what? There are actually 3 more ratios. And these are the reciprocal ratios. What does reciprocal mean? Take a fraction, flip it. So if you have opposite over hypotenuse, what's the reciprocal of that? Hypotenuse over opposite. Good. Okay, so in essence, nothing new today, just a few, like 3 new words. Okay, so let's look at, so we've got our primary trig ratios. These are the primary trig ratios. And then for each primary trig ratio, there is a reciprocal. Meaning if I take sine, I can flip it and get a reciprocal. So let's look at them. The reciprocal for sine is called cosecant. If you speak French, you see the word séquent. I don't know what it means, but I know it means something in French. Okay, so anyone know? Or did I make something up? I don't know. All right, so if cosecant is the opposite, it is the reciprocal of sine, what's the formula for cosecant? That's it. That's it. Okay, so the formula for cosecant is going to be hypotenuse over opposite. If secant is the reciprocal of cosine, is the reciprocal ratio of cosine, what is the formula for secant? Yeah, hypotenuse over adjacent. And if cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, what is the formula for cotangent? Okay? So as we can see, nothing crazy new, just some reciprocals. Now, keeping that in mind, and keeping in mind that in rotational trigonometry, we're not using hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent, but instead we're using x, y, and r, let's write the formulas for cosecant, secant, tangent. So if sine is y over r, cosecant is going to be r over y. Actually, I'm going to change the color to make it color coordinated. If cosine is x over r, secant is going to be r over x. And if cotangent is y over r, if tangent is y over r, cotangent, or x, cotangent is going to be x over y. All right, so these are just, again, reciprocals. And reciprocal means flip the fraction. So let's just summarize. If we have sine, we know that sine has a, actually, let's go backwards. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, meaning to find the cosecant, you go 1 over sine. And if you're given cosecant, you can say, oh, sine is 1 over cosecant. Right? When we do 1 over, that means, oh, we're finding the reciprocal. Cosine and secant are reciprocals of one another. So as such, they are 1 over. tangent and cotangent are reciprocals, meaning they're 1 over of each other. Now for the test, I will give you this. But I won't give you that cosecant is r over y, right? But you can get to that. What you need for the test is to remember which ones go together, right? The cotangent and tangent are obvious, but I find the cosecant and secant can be a bit tricky to remember. So I will give you these relationships. Should have been cosine, right? But we have a cosine already. Like, come on. Come on, mathematicians. All right. Okay. So let's practice. So we call these new ratios, but they're not because there's just reciprocals of the old ones. So again, it's something new, but not crazy new. Take out your calculator. Let's find these ratios on your calculator. I don't know if I don't have one. Just, you can, oh yeah, you can use that one. Oh, take it back, take it back. Oh my God, I'm like, there is no secant button on your calculator. Everyone's like, I've got the wrong calculator. No, no. Sorry, I zoned out. There are no reciprocal ratios on your calculator. So to find the answer, you're going to have to use the reciprocal. So watch this. If I want to find secant of 43.6 degrees, the only way I can find this is by saying, oh, that is just 1 over what? Cos of 43.6 degrees. So watch what we do on our calculator. I'm going to make up calculator buttons. So you're going to find cos of 43.6, and then folks, you have a special button on your calculator. It might look like this. It might look like an x to the negative 1, or it might look like a 1 over x button. This is the new button you want to find on your calculator. This is the reciprocal button on your calculator. So let's have everyone punch this in, and the answer you want to get is that secant of 43.6 degrees is approximately 1.38. Nothing. There are no units. Yeah.
I have two questions. Why'd you write cos 43.6? Or is it just?
Oh, just like figure that out, then press this button.
And also, I did 1 divided by cos 43.6.
I know. Come on. Use that special button. Like, yes, 1 divided works, but when you have a really long equation, you're going to mess up. Keep working on it.
Why do we divide 1 by cos?
Because we're looking for the reciprocal ratio, which is secant.
Like, why is it 1?
1 over, that's how you find the reciprocal. Oh, how about this? Because it's like over 1, something like that. Okay, let's try again. Forget 3.42 because that is in radians, and I don't want you to switch your calculator into radians. Let's do 3.42 is going to be approximately 330 degrees. Okay, so let's do cosecant of 330 degrees. So again, you can't punch that in your calculator, But what you can do is you can find out what is 1 over sine of 330 degrees. So again, you're going to use that special button. Now, I don't have my calculator. Anyone want to give me a value?
-2.
Straight up? Bam. Good choice of number. Oh, yeah, no, you don't. Love it. Oh, man, you guys are so good. Okay. Let's do another question. One more. Let's bring in the cast rule. Why? Why not? All right, read the next question. And folks, we're going to be in 2 quadrants. Can you figure out which ones they are? The cast rule applies. So if cotangent is positive, tangent is also positive. Okay, so if cotangent is positive, that means we're not in this quadrant. We're not in this quadrant. We are in quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. Now, what we're going to do is when we punch this into our calculator, we are going to get the related acute angle. Okay, so the first thing we do is we can't punch in cotangent. So we're going to say, okay, cotangent equals 1. Oh, sorry, I forgot theta. Cotangent theta equals 1.921, okay, over 1. Okay, I'm going to write over 1 so that I can flip it. So watch this. This is the big one. Therefore, if I write the reciprocal 1 over 921, what do I write here? Tangent. Good. And because I don't know the angle, what is it called? How do I find the angle? Inverse. Right? So now we have 2 words that are confusing. We've got reciprocal and we've got inverse. We have. But I'm just saying in this question, we're bringing in both of those words that I feel sometimes can get confusing. Okay, punch this in your calculator. 1 decimal is fine. Why did I get 29.8? Okay. Approximately, right? Okay, now folks, this is important. This is the related acute angle. Your calculator will not give you all the angles. It will give you the smallest one. So which quadrant has 27.5? Right? This here is 27.5. Good question. So in quadrant 3, my angle is obtuse. It's got to be bigger than 180 degrees. How much bigger than 180 degrees? 27.5, right? If this is my RAA, that means this angle is going to be 180 degrees plus 27.5 degrees. and it's approximately 207.5 degrees. This question, folks, is a hard one. It's just a lot going on. It's definitely one that you want to practice. Now, for the homework, notice there are questions in radians. If you are good at converting from radians to degrees, keep practicing that. You will really thank yourself next year. Okay. But if not, then ignore the radians questions. Yes.